Hello everybody, Flash Notion here, back for the second part of my catch-up. We're back for more Soul Eater, episodes 5 and 6, and I honestly don't quite remember what we were setting up at the end of the last one. Dr. Frankenstein there. The other weapon meister that is supposedly like the best one ever that they now have to go and fight. Sure, I guess. Yeah, I mean, again, I mentioned this last time, like, I need more time with these characters to really get to know them. I would like some more scenes that are outside of the action a little bit, kind of. Like the parts where they're just, like, talking in the hallway there, looking at the board, the message board, is, like, the parts I'm actually interested in the most, because, like, that's our opportunity to really get to know these characters as people, and those parts are so short and don't happen enough. But who knows? For right now, I've been enjoying it. So, just based on what we've had so far, Maka's my favorite. I guess that's all we have to really say, isn't it? Let's just get into the show. Starting episodes 5 and 6 in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. So the first one, we finished out that little mini arc there. And yeah, I kind of suspected Stein wouldn't be just a one-off enemy. I wondered if he was what was truly going on with him. Just because it felt the setup all felt very weird. Just in general, one of the things that I'm curious about is, like, what the manga for this series was like. Because it really does feel like there's a bunch of missing pieces, so to speak. Like I feel like there's been some parts cut out that maybe weren't essential for the story, but they gave more context to certain things. Because, like, it was really weird how we had we had Kid there all set up and ready to go to the aid of Maka and Blackstar, but then just off-screen something apparently happened or didn't happen that wasn't set up at all. Like, I don't even think he mentioned going to the bathroom first, which would have been, a simple line that really would have put everything into context there. But, like, he was all set up, ready to go to help them, and then nothing came of that. Like, he didn't even show up afterwards too late. It seemed like it was mainly there to give him, like, a reason to say, oh, well, I'm now enrolled in the school and I'm going to have to attend classes. Which I don't know why they couldn't have just had him be, a student of the school from the beginning. Like, I don't know why they had to say that he wasn't a student. Like, that just seems weird. So, like, there also seems like there's some context missing there. It seems like there was some stuff that maybe should have been set up more with the teachers, especially Sid, and, like, yeah, just a lot of little stuff like that. It seems like maybe in the manga there was a few more scenes of this, but, like, they chose to cut and streamline some things, and as a result, they end up missing out on, like, the bigger picture a little bit. I don't know if that's actually the case, It's just how I kind of feel at the moment. But maybe that's just the way that the manga was, is that, like, we're just getting these bits and pieces of a story, then there's so much more out there that, like, we could be seeing, but, like, you know, it wouldn't necessarily, it's like we're getting the bare essentials of telling the story, that sort of thing. Like, like, in the sense that, like, kid's watching, he declares that he's going to go and help, and, like, he, what's the word there? In order to be allowed to go and help there, he declares that he's going to enroll in the school and attend classes, but then he doesn't go and end up helping because neurotic tendencies happened over something off screen that wasn't really necessary to show. And we get the picture, and, like, if you think about it, it's like, oh, he probably went to the bathroom, and this is what's happening now as a result. And, like, you don't need the whole scene. You can, as long as you're willing to put in some thought about it. Which, to be fair, like, if that is the case, in hindsight, actually, now I think about it, that's actually a pretty cool thing, that if that's what they're doing, because, like, so many stories don't trust the audience to think about details. They have to cram in everything in order to make sure that the idiots out there, no offense to anybody, but, like, actually full offense to some people, I guess, I don't know, like, if you take offense to being called an idiot because you don't think critically, like, not even think critically, but just, like, think about what you're seeing and, like, try to extrapolate from it. If you take offense to being called an idiot because you don't think things through, then yeah, like, full offense to you. But, like, a lot of media does feel the need to spoon feed its audience, and, like, if this series was like, nah, we trust people to think about this and understand why certain choices were made, then in that case, you know what? I'm down for it. And you know what else is different, now that I think about it? This series doesn't have any flashbacks. Like, I've grown used to that being a thing in, like, Dragon Ball and My Hero and other series like that I've watched, where it's just like, yeah, they'll flash back, like, during the fights, during the talks, to previous parts of the series that are, like, currently relevant, and, like, they'll do flashbacks inside of flashbacks, and it'll be, like, just giving the audience, like, the rundown of, like, here's all the information that's relevant to the current moment. And sometimes that can be fine, sometimes it can really slow shit down, but, like, this series hasn't done that at all. And I get that it's still early, but, like, fucking hell, My Hero was doing that. I think it did it in the very first episode! So, like, if not for episode 1, then it definitely started doing it in episode 2. So, yeah, in that regard, if this series is just trusting the audience to remember details and remember and think about things themselves, then you know what? I'm here for it. It'll take some getting used to, because I have gotten a little bit used to the spoon feeding, but you know what? I can't be mad. Just confused, pleasantly so, I guess, to a certain degree. And in that regard, the first episode was really cool. We got to see the whole resonance thing working out, and, like, what kind of power Maka could someday wield, I guess, if she really is supposed to be that kind of, like, shonen protagonist. But, like, we're nowhere near that yet. And it would be kind of weird if we got there by the end of the show, too. And then the other thing that episode 5 introduced is it really introduced this idea of, like, actually being able to see a person's soul, and that being, like, an inherent skill of the weapon meisters. We really haven't gotten into it yet, like, why is it that certain people can turn into weapons and certain people can then wield those weapons? Like, what differentiates them from just average persons, that sort of thing. The mechanics of this show's power system, we'll go with that. The power system that this show uses has not been explained to us. And again, maybe that's one of those things where, like, this show is trusting enough of its audience that it doesn't feel the need to explain everything right away. You know, again, comparing to My Hero, where, like, the power system of quirks was explained right away. Which I... And then like, you know what? I'm actually going to compare it to RWBY again, because RWBY also had a power system that was pretty evident early on, but we didn't understand it until later on. Like, we could see auras and semblances and stuff like that happening, but we didn't really truly get the full picture until much later. And even then, like, because of the way that the show was written early on, a lot of that information was only revealed in the supplementary material, the World of Remnant stuff, which I made clear, I'm pretty sure, in those early reactions, how much I loathed that idea. That if it wasn't clear what was going on from the show itself, that was an example of poor writing. And I still stand by that statement, by the way, but I also think that there is a balance to be struck between, like, oh, you'll only understand what's going on if you read, like, this full-on manual that is published alongside of this, versus, like, we're going to tell you everything straight up front in the show. I think there's a balance there where it's like, yeah, we can reveal this information bit by bit and gradually introduce you to these concepts and ideas, but also make it clear that, you know, the characters already know about these ideas and can make use of these abilities and whatnot. I mean, heck, going back to RWBY, one of the more awkward moments of the series was in Season 2, when they had to actually explain Yang's semblance to the audience, and, you know, it was RWBY just blatantly saying, here, this is what Yang can do, and it leads to that fridge moment of, like, these girls have been together for a while yet, and they don't, or been together for a while already, and they don't yet know what each other can do? What the heck? So, there is that. And, right, so this, what I've gotten of the system so far, though, is that the Meisters, part of what makes them special is their ability to see and manipulate, or, like, see other people's souls and then manipulate their own souls. Which is, yeah, pretty neat. And then, like, the weapons can do that a little bit too, it seems like, but only when in conjunction with a Meister. So, yeah. I like the way that they kind of just threw that in there as if you were expected to already understand it, is what I'm saying. And then they brought it up again here at the end of the episode 6 with the whole, let's take a look at Death's soul, and it's like, yeah, no, he just has this huge fucking soul that looks like it's basically acting as a shield to the entire city, which I have to wonder about. Like, I feel like there's a lot of lore to this series that has not been said yet. And I really look forward to the point where we do get into that, where we get the history lesson. Let's see. 51 episodes, I believe, was the total for this. Well, if we're doing if we're going to look at the whole 51 as like a singular story, then going into a 3-act structure, you get about a quarter of the way in. So yeah, I'd give it about until episode 13, actually, to finish introducing us to concepts and whatnot, and actually get to the proper inciting incident where, we get the bad guy appearing. Like that's what I'm waiting for, realistically, is our overarching plot to become more apparent beyond just the training and trying to turn Soul into a death scythe. So yeah, and then the actual fight in episode 6 was pretty funny. I don't really like Kid's gimmick, his little neurotic tendencies type of thing. I feel like it's it might be like a product of its time there, like mental illness as a joke, but like he seems like he's supposed to be portraying as some sort of like OCD type thing, and it's like that's not really how it works. But also, like, if it were that, like, it's not funny. That's actually a thing that severely impacts your life. Like the whole he's now 3 hours late for school because he can't control his mental illness thing. Like, god damn, that sucks when stuff like that happens. So I don't know if that's what they were going for with him, and if they do want to lean into it more heavily, then it might be actually interesting, but for right now it seems like they're just keeping it as a joke, and I don't really find it funny. And on the other side of that, though, you got Black Star, and it's like, yeah, he's kind of obnoxious. Like, there's sometimes where it comes across as, like, endearing, because he's, like, a child, and he's trying to be the center of attention, and he wants everybody to love him, but, like, I want to know why he's this way. Like, it's one thing for a character to act a certain way, it's another thing once you find out why they act a certain way. Bakugo was an obnoxious character for, like, the first several episodes of My Hero. He was at his worst in episode 1, and he was a little bit better from the end of episode 2 onward, but, like, he didn't actually start improving, I feel like, until after, what was it, like episode 8 of the first season, and then, like, he didn't actually become a truly good character until the end of season 3. Because that was where we truly got the glimpse behind the veil and understood, like, yes, this is why he acts the way he does. It's because deep down he's afraid that he's not actually as good as everybody has said he is, and he wants to live up to the expectations that people have had for him. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot going on with Bakugo's psyche there, and it makes him a very interesting and complex character. Well beyond just the I'm the bully and I'm going to be the best and fuck you all for even trying to approach me. It's like, no, he's actually really cool, and I like seeing his growth, especially in seasons 4 and 5. Even though we haven't gotten a whole lot of him in seasons 4 and 5, I'll be honest. My Hero, it's weird because there's a lot of stuff in My Hero that I've enjoyed in season 4 and 5, but, like, there's also a lot of stuff I didn't. But this is not a My Hero reaction. This is a Soul Eater reaction. But what I'm getting at, or what I was trying to get at with all that, though, is that Black Star really reminds me in some ways of early Bakugo, in just that he can be obnoxious and entertaining at times, endearing a little bit maybe, but, like, there's also hints that, like, there's more going on behind the scenes with him, and I want to know what that is, so that way I can actually decide whether or not I like him as a character. Again, it's very early on still, we're not even a quarter way into the series yet, so there is still time for that, but, like, I need more. And I did like the breakdown of like, here's his wild, out of control soul. That's very self-centered. Here's someone flexible who can actually deal with that in Tsubaki there. And yeah, honestly, she's probably the one we've gotten the least information on. Soul and Maka, we kind of have... We haven't really gotten a lot with them, but we've gotten hints of things. And like now we have information on Death's kid there, and also his weapons. Liz and Patty? Or was it Liv and Patty? We'll go with L and P. L and P were, on the street. They were street rats, and they were feral, and he kind of like rescued them. That's pretty cool to see right there, and maybe an aspect that I want them to lean into a little bit more in moving forward. This idea that if things fall through with Kid, L and P do not have anything to go back to after that. It'd be a bit more interesting, I think. But we don't have any kind of backstory like that on Tsubaki yet, and her personality-wise, she's just been so passive. But it also seems like she's a bit possessive of Black Star in a way. So yeah, I really do want to know more about that. And as far as Maka and Soul, yeah, Maka, I've decided Maka's a tsundere, classic version there a little bit. She acts all tough and like she doesn't want to get close to anybody, but like she seems to desperately long for that sort of companionship, especially with Soul. I'm not sure how I would want that relationship to go there. I mean, I'm neck deep in Star Versus at this point, where like the shipping and the relationships have become a huge, not just presence in the series, but almost a problem. And in that way, I don't want there to be anything between Soul and Maka, really. I enjoyed Star Versus much more, I think, back when I was just like able to appreciate Star and Marco being friends, but like in my head ship them and be like, oh, they'd make a cute couple, but they don't need to be. I'm happy with them just being friends. And I feel like it's the same kind of way here, where it's like, yeah, you could see it happen, see something developing between Soul and Maka, but like, wouldn't it be just as satisfying, if not more satisfying at this point in time, for them to just be good friends? Like, their relationship can be close, it can be intimate, but like, it doesn't have to be romantic. And honestly, I'd like it better if it wasn't, probably. Simply because, like, we don't really get that very often, and I don't think I've gotten it in any series that I watch. I haven't gotten it with My Hero because Uraraka and Deku are both interested in each other. Haven't gotten it with Star Versus now because of that. Excuse me. Let's see. Well, so far there's nothing on One Punch Man. I think it would be interesting if something happened with him and Blizzard, but like, since she's like the only female character we've gotten introduced to other than her sister, but like, I don't need them to go down that route at all. But I think it would be interesting if Blizzard got a crush on Saitama. That'd be neat. But I wouldn't want that to become any kind of focus. Ruby's interesting because like there are canonical relationships in that one, and then there are like the ones that are more open to interpretation, shall we say. Like, there are still people who say that Blake and Yang aren't in a relationship, and it's like, they might not have explicitly come out and said it, but they're definitely... They might not be fucking yet, but they're definitely not just friends. And, like, obviously they've had Red and Nora doing stuff for people who've watched the show. And also, like, Jean and Pyrrha stuff, but, like, I don't know, like, now that I think about it, almost every single other ship that I know of for that series has pretty much been either girl on girl or guy on guy. It's been all gay. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a straight ship in that show, and like there is not any. There's some stuff like involving Crow. Anytime he's been shipped with like one of the female characters, which isn't all that often, but like it does exist. I guess Emerald and Mercury was a ship at some point for the villain side, but like far more people I think were interested in like Emerald and Cinder. Yeah, there hasn't been that many straight ships. Huh. I guess I don't know how I don't know who the current one is to ship Crow with, because the last person I know that he was shipped with, like, I know at first he was shipped with Winter, because obviously, but after Volume 3, that kind of died down quite a bit, because, like, you know, loss of focus. And then, like, Volume 7 came along and he was shipped with Clover almost instantly. But now I'm not sure. Like, I don't think very many people ship him with Robin. And I don't think very many people would ship him with Winter at this point either. Simply because Winter's had some other characters that she's been shipped with. I guess maybe Harriet moving forward, depending on how many like conversations they have about how much they miss Clover. Could do like in Steven Universe, Pearl and Greg. It's like they both cared about this guy, and now he's gone. Now they are getting closer together. That sort of thing. But that sounds like a story that I'd watch, or if it was in a fanfic, read. But regardless, anyways, my point was that like there aren't that many male-female close friendships in stuff that I watch that have not turned romantic, and like I'm kind of getting sick of it. I mean, going back to Ruby right there, I guess the other one that springs to mind is Oscar and Ruby, where it's just like, yeah, they make great friends. Let's keep it that way. Like I'm like it's not even out of a desire to ship Ruby with anybody else. Like, yeah, obviously I ship White Rose, and I also shipped fucking Nuts and Dolts there. A lot harder than White Rose, honestly. But, like, it's not even over that sort of thing. It's just like, no, Ruby and Oscar make great friends and allies. They don't need to be in a romantic relationship with one another. That would be like back... I imagine it happened, but, like, if back during the first 3 volumes, people had been obsessively shipping Glinda and Ozpin. Like, no, let them just be fellow teachers and allies. I mean, I know there was also a bunch of people who shipped Glinda with Ironwood at that point in time, so, like, well. But yeah, that was my big takeaway there from everything with those two. In this, yeah, looks like we're going to be getting some interesting stuff next time. Krona, I have heard of Krona from the Death Battle. I know nothing about the character. Not a thing. I did not watch that Death Battle because at the time, it was either I wasn't interested in Soul Eater at the time, or it was a case of like I knew I would be reacting to it eventually, and so I stayed away to avoid spoilers. But I do know that the character exists. I believe Krona was put up against Carnage? Was that it? If that's the case, then I'm expecting Krona to be very powerful. And you might notice that I have avoided using pronouns. I do not know anything about the character. So, yay! Proper introduction. It's going to be bugging me until I actually do watch it, though. Like, what? How do I refer to this character? Krona. The name by name. Yeah. Also, I think I've talked enough. I think I've rambled enough. I've mentioned literally every series I can possibly mention other than this one, and that means that it's really time to stop because I'm rambling. I'm totally talking too much. Let's end this here and now. Okay? Okay. I will see you all next time. Until then, bye-bye.